to retweet and stuff. Oh, shit.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Leafs win versus the Penguins, 5-2 in Pittsburgh. They played 42 minutes of wonderful hockey.
Really good. 42 minutes, and that's a good thing because that's the entire game. There is no other. I don't know. People say it's 60 minutes. I just choose to forget that part of the second period ever happened because I was totally like, no. As soon as the second goal, oh my God, horrific second goal we'll talk about that. But as soon as that went in, I was like, oh, that's it. Again, like I said this yesterday, I was writing Eminem 8 Mile rap bars about this team. I was like, you didn't do this, and I said did, and everything. And then they turned it around. So
yep,
I guess
absolutely.
we can be happy about it.
Well, and we're playing 42 minutes out of 62, or out of 60 instead of 18, right?
That's more than 50%.
Right? Normally, we're the Penguins playing that way, where we don't show up for the first and we don't show up for the third. We show up for a little bit in the second, just enough to get your hopes up. Only this time, the roles were reversed. If it is your first time here, welcome to Game Over Toronto. My name is Lauren Williamson, Lauren in the 6 on Twitter, with my wonderful co-host Fouad. Go ahead, buddy.
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, make sure your eyes are all a part of the show. So make sure you tell your friends, put it on social media, tweet it before Twitter becomes a bird watching website, and just shout it from the mountaintops. Tell all your friends you're part of this stream just like we are. So get the word out. And
we already got some of our regular people in the chat. Mikey's Lab's back. What's up, Mikey?
What's going on, everybody?
Good to see you, buddy. Cameron. Shout out Cameron.
So here's the thing. We wondered, we're like, can they actually hold this lead? And the Leafs, they said, you bet. And if you want to bet, you can do it at Sports Interaction. Football is back, or football is ongoing, rather. The World Cup is around the corner and hockey season is underway. Bet pregame, live in play are one of our many prop bets. Made for Canadians, by Canadians, Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all sports betting has to offer. Head to sportsinteraction.com/STPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/STPN, Ontario only. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. So. Yeah. So the first thing we got to talk about was the first goal, because shooting it like from 3-point land was John Tavares. Okay. And I have something prepared about John Tavares. I got to say, 91. Can you do something for me? Can you score a lot of goals next for me? 91. Do your thing, 91. Woo! John Tavares finally gets it off his back. 400 goals. I didn't know this. He's the third highest goal scorer from his draft year on. So that 13 year span. Yeah, I saw that.
Who's above him?
Ovechkin and somebody else. I do not recall. But but yeah, you know what? People on Twitter and stuff were saying, maybe John Tavares is washed. He's washed. And the only thing washed is his kale, okay? That's it.
He doesn't need a freshly washed. It comes. I'm sure he has a device in his fridge that washes it for him.
Oh, absolutely. But what I'm trying to say is, he is healthy, he's rejuvenated, and he's killing it. So
and he is back with a vengeance, looking better than he ever did, looking like he did before he had that awful injury a couple years ago versus Montreal in the playoffs. And
yeah,
boy,
I'm getting this 18-19 vibes, like when he first signed. He's kind of has that vibe to him.
Yeah.
I hope it keeps up, and I'm really happy that we saw that tonight. And those two first goals, they were like so refreshing because the core showed different sides of themselves. So, seeing Marner on both goals crash the net, I was like, it was a sight for sore eyes. I was like, are you kidding me? Who is this? Singular
goals from inside the blue paint. The goals we've been begging and praying would come.
Yeah.
They are just like, oh, we're just going to do it against Pittsburgh. Which, okay, sure. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And if they can play like that, I mean, we're definitely going to get to Matt Murray and his impressive comeback performance after injury.
He carried it.
He kept them in the game tonight, for sure. He kept them in the game tonight, for sure.
That avalanche that came in the second period, if it was Shellgren, I think we're talking about a
wave
different
after
finish.
wave after wave after wave. There was a lot of pressure, and having the Mitch Marner goal in the second goal that they got, the Marner goal in the first was just like, he doesn't usually just like hang out in front of the net and do that. And I think that was amazing. I think that's why he was able to get away with it, because nobody was expecting him to be standing there like batting it in the blue paint. That's not where he usually is. He's usually in one of the dots, right?
Sometimes you got to make new songs after the one hit wonder. Okay, you can't stay the same in this league. They have data, and they have more data on you. They know more about you than your parents do.
Probably.
Like, they do. These teams. So you have to switch it up. And I like the way that I like what I saw from Marner for sure. And Tavares. I think I like the top six. I think I like it.
Even the third line, the line of Kampf, Mulligan, and Zach Aston-Reese, the 62-64-12 line, I was like, that's pretty good. They were getting some really good zone time. They weren't getting a whole lot of chances, but
yeah,
David Kampf, most underrated player on the Leafs. Just tell me if I think so.
Noted favorite of Lauren, David Kampf.
I might have to buy a Kampf jersey. If he re-signs here, I might have to buy one because I love that guy. I just think he's something real special that we don't really have lots of.
I like
that.
Wow. That is heavy praise.
They weren't rewarded tonight, but that line is really good, and they had Kampf on the fourth line for a while, but anyway, they didn't even score. They didn't even score, but they played great, and I just love when we play so great. It puts me in such a good mood.
42 minutes. It was amazing for 42 minutes.
Yeah.
But what I also noticed, to stick to the positives, because we're trying to do that here. We always ruminate over the negative.
Yeah.
Let's stick to the positive here. So I like these line combos from the OG line combos from like 2018, 2019. I felt like they were more fluid 5-on-5, and that's been something I've seen like a lot of advanced stats on, that they've been abysmal 5-on-5 this season, especially relative to their talent.
They're down like a goal a game at 5-on-5 so far this year. And is it I was thinking about it today. Are we still allowed to say it's the beginning of the season? Like it is. It's in the first 20 games, right? So it's before the first
Yeah, about 20%.
Just under.
Yeah,
so
25. Yeah.
So
it's early. It is early.
It is still early, right? They've only been playing for 6 weeks. And and hopefully we can get that sorted and get those numbers up. I mean, listen, we know that Marner is whoever he plays with, he could play with just about anybody in the league and pretty much guaranteed that they're going to get at least 50 points. He is phenomenal, and when he is playing really well, you want to get him with the best players, and when he's not, well, put him with the people that are playing really good. And right now that's Tavares. And when Matthews gets going again, which inevitably he will, because you don't score 60 goals and then just forget how to score, right? It is going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
I wouldn't fret over. I know everyone's like, you can't separate Matthews and Marner. You can't do it. I wouldn't fret over that. I mean, that's why you have the depth. That was their vision for the team. You have these 4 star players that you can mix and match whenever you want, and this has been a proven commodity. So I mean, the offense looked noticeably more like themselves, or how they should look today. I mean, there were times where like some of the games this season where when their offense is at their worst, I could barely watch. I could barely keep my head out of my phone. I'm like, I can't watch this. It was so bad.
You're doing this. You're doing the. I'm not really watching. I'm scrolling, doom scrolling Twitter.
Like, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I don't care about the team anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, just what? Yeah. Doom scrolling Twitter.
Mikey in the chat. Jordy Ben for the Vezina.
Vezina. Yeah.
Jordy Ben, who, if you squint and you take away, the 1 in front of his number, it could be Jake Muzzin out there. How well did he play tonight? Oh man,
he's like Jake Muzzin. He's Jake Muzzin from Wish.
No, but tonight he played so well tonight. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, he did. I had a lot of notes. I mean, I literally wanted to say, is Jordy Ben the best defenseman on the Maple Leafs? He's not.
He might be the best right shot defenseman right now.
That's not saying much, but I like him. I like what I see so far. I feel like he's giving me the Spezza vibe in a different way. Okay, like obviously Spezza, they're different players. I'm not comparing them, but you can see that these guys rally around this guy, and who's a veteran. He's been in the league probably 15 years. Around that, I would imagine.
I think they said 10. Jordy
Ben?
Ben?
So he
yeah.
must have been a late bloomer then.
I thought he was older
I think
too.
he's about 35.
Yeah.
Regardless, he's been around, and he's a tough guy, and he seems like a likable person that if the guys can rally around him, like this core does need someone to push them, or needs that guidance. They don't really have it within themselves quite yet, but I like them.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. I mean, he's a bottom 6 guy. Let's not go nuts, but he provides a lot of value. Like, you noticed him out there like 10 times, probably the player you noticed the most, to be quite honest.
He looked like the best defenseman on the right side tonight. And, I say that from a place of love for my team, right? I have jerseys on the wall. I have hats. I have so much merchandise. My mom asked me what my Christmas list was, and she said, "Don't you want anything other than Leaf stuff?"
David Camp jersey. No, go on, sorry.
Right? No, Ed. I mean, listen, it's not on the list. But, I think that Rasmus Sandin's pass decision that leads to the Sidney Crosby goal is like, as soon as he touched it, I knew something was going to happen. And then I saw
down for a second.
And then I saw who got the puck, and I just went, "Oh no!" And then it was in the back of the net. Like
earlier,
that was bad.
Was it today or yesterday that Dubas spoke? I think it was either today or yesterday.
It was yesterday.
And he literally said, they're asking him, the reporters are asking him, are you going to augment the defense at all? He's like, we're going to find out who's good and who's not good. And it's pretty blunt coming from Kyle Dubas. So Rasmus Sandin saw that, and he threw a Walter White pizza in the middle, like from Breaking Bad. He throws the pizza. Like, that was bad. I mean, this is not the first one. You can always forgive the first one.
It's not the first one. No, it's like the 4th or 5th this year.
Of errors that are so egregious that anybody who has never watched hockey before would be like, okay, he did the bad thing. He did the bad thing. So,
and I know that technically he's not a rookie anymore, right?
No,
I got chirped a couple weeks ago in the comment section
about our faults. Yeah,
about calling him a rookie, but he is still arguably like one of our youngest defensemen that we have on the team, and that's just what I mean by a rookie. I just mean like he's the greenest of our defense. Him and Liljegren are pretty much tied in that respect, right? And it's just moments like that you see the lack of experience in the NHL, whereas a player like Jordy Ben doesn't do that, and Jordy Ben isn't even he's no Victor Hedman, but
he's not all that talented. Yeah, he's not the most talented guy.
But
yeah, I feel bad. I feel like knowing the fan base and knowing the media and knowing how things go, I feel like he's about to get garnered by the fans right now. Like, I mean,
yeah.
And I feel for him. I just urge everybody just to tamp it down a bit because he is still young. We want this guy to develop. I'd say calm it down. He's got to do better. He's got to do better than that. If you want to be in the NHL, then you can't be doing that. No coach is going to trust him.
No, But after a play like that, what team is willing to take that either? If I guarantee that if you look up Twitter and Rasmus Sandin right now, all you're going to see is highlights of that. I don't know. I haven't personally checked, but that was a terrible play that you
can't do that.
That in the playoffs in the last couple of years has led to the series winning goal, right? Travis Dermott, Alex Galchenyuk, goals where we were like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh.
Hockey end
up crushing our souls, right? They're Jake Gardner style fuck ups. And
completely, yeah.
And we don't need people that are going to make those, and he makes them more than any of other of our defensemen right now does. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Catastrophic errors. I mean,
golly.
I mean, Riley had one that almost led to a goal. Like I saw one where he just threw it out into the middle again.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's just Sandin, but the Sandin ones are just so
egregious.
Noticeable.
They're just egregious, and they just
yeah.
It's not just like, oh, you found a hungry bear and you throw it a rotten piece of meat. No, you're giving it like a rump roast, essentially. Like,
it was easy, yeah. It was, and it's Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
You just dimed him up.
Yeah. Let's see what the chat's saying here. He seems pretty reliable. Jordy Ben is on pace for 67 points this year. I like that. Stat. I wonder, is there a sports interaction bet for that? I wonder.
Yeah, it's
what would the payout be for that? I can only imagine.
Yeah. I mean, going off the defense question, like, I mean, they do. Do you think? I think they might have to do. They have to paper over somehow. Like they have to make some kind of ad for the deadline. I don't think they can go in even when Brody comes back. Like I don't know. Like you look at that defense and you look at them and you're like, can you go one playoff round with him? Two playoff rounds.
But that's the thing, right? We're not trying to go just one. Even though I know most of us would probably be like, I'll take one. I'm happy with one.
Yeah, but once you get one, you're going to be upset when you don't get it. So what I'm trying to say is I don't think they can. I don't think they're going to let this just be the defense because, Kyle Dubas is a free agent. Barring some miracle, he is not coming back. So
you don't think so?
If it's not a first, and listen, if it's not, I think if it's not a second round at the very least, there's no possible way. I think both sides would probably want to part ways, I think. But,
I don't know what's going to happen because there's a lot of people that have a lot of authority that are saying that if Dubas leaves, so does Matthews. Which...
Ooh, they're thick as thieves, eh?
Yeah, there are a lot of people that are saying that those two people are like...
The clique is like Dubas, Matthews, and Bieber. Like that's the clique. That's the guys that hang out.
Yeah, that's who goes and does karaoke for sure.
Yeah, no. Dubas, sure. Yeah, Dubas is like the dad friend of the group. No, but seriously, like I think they might, but I think they might. I think he.
Shout out to fellow game over host Dennis Lee. What's up, Dennis? How you doing, buddy?
Just like Lay's can't stop at one. I'm trying to see what he's referring to here. Did I miss something?
Oh, I think he's talking about the Rasmus Sandin fuck-ups, I hope.
Can't stop at one.
No. No, he's talking about the rounds. How many rounds in the playoffs you would want to win? Can't stop at one. You are right.
Yeah, right. Like, we said a lot of things at once, and I completely forgot.
We're very excitable. We're very excitable.
Dennis, why are you sabotaging our streak? No, I'm just kidding. We love you, buddy.
Heyo.
Heyo. Oh, man. But, like, I think they might add somebody at the deadline, and I don't. But it kind of tears you because do you want to keep firing out draft picks to kind of chase after your losses? Like, is that something, or can they get somebody cheap? Maybe they can get Luke Schenn back. I don't know. He'd be okay. Like maybe a stabilizer back there.
I don't know, man. Like I was trying to do some research on it the other day, and I was trying to think of a good right shot defenseman that we could get that's reasonably priced, and almost everybody that's pretty decent has moved recently, which makes me think that they're probably not going to want to be traded, right? And it depends how much money is going out the door. And like, because Rasmus Sandin only makes 1.4, so unless we're packaging him with somebody else that makes more money that frees up more cap space, it's going to be slim pickings. So, I mean, it looks like on the plus side though, after tonight's game, it looks like maybe if he can stay healthy, maybe we don't need to go and find another goalie, because let's get back to Matt Murray and his redemption game, the recovery game, his first game back after his only other game that he's played so far this season, only letting in 2 goals tonight, where there were a couple chances where I thought, I am so glad that he has practiced with those guys and knows how they like to shoot, because there were some chances tonight that he took away for the Penguins
he stemmed the tide. He's the one I think that really broke the momentum. I don't know if Eric Shelgren would have been able to make some of those stops, because there were some 10-bellers. Like, there were some really amazing chances given up by the Penguins. Like, there was a lot of those chances. And
normally the Penguins are a team that take advantage of that, right? And for them to not be able to capitalize on Murray, for him to be able to have the confidence in the game that he won, I hope he feels good tonight. He played really great for us.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Yeah, against his former team. Like, that's, build some momentum.
Thomas Tam wants Luke Shen. Give me Luke Shen. You might not be wrong. I'm down with Shen, Cameron Gilmore. Might not be a bad idea here.
I don't like the idea of risking another Foligno move. Like, let's just say you're gonna go after what? Like, you're gonna go after like a John Klingberg, and you're gonna throw first, and then gets injured. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of those things. Like, and he's gonna be gone at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Like, the only person I would like throw picks and like actual value at would be like Jacob Chikrin from Arizona, because he's young and he's under contract.
Not a right shot defenseman.
Just make him one. I don't know. There's not that many of them left. There's not that many of them.
And that's what I mean. Like, you do
like they do
they
in
don't
Catholic
come out
school,
everywhere.
okay? In Catholic school, you're not allowed to write with your left hand, okay? You got to be right-handed, okay? That's what they did.
They don't do that anymore, do they?
They used to do it. No,
they used to do it.
My mom went to a Catholic school in the Middle East. She told me it was like that. But,
oh, jeez.
yeah. The left-handedness is the devil. But get those nuns, change them up. No, but seriously, I think somebody stable would be somebody stable, somebody cheap. If you could find a way to do that, then you're good. But yeah, I think we'll see there. Let's talk quickly before we get out of here about Jake Muzzin, because that news came down, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that, because it's pretty significant. Jake Muzzin is being reevaluated in February, which is the longest time I've heard someone be reevaluated. So I think it's just kicking the can down the road. I think it's a formality at this point.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back.
A cervical spine injury is like a quality of life injury, right? It's not a torn meniscus. It's not a sprained elbow. It's not a broken ankle. Like, the way that Kyle Dubas and then Mitch Marner are talking, they're like the wife and kids. He's got family. You don't hear that stuff for a fractured ankle.
Well, and Mitch even said, like, obviously I knew about this a long time before you guys did. So, I mean, I don't find that surprising at all, but obviously they've known that this is going to be something where he is not coming back for the foreseeable future. We should be planning for a future without him, inevitably, right?
Yeah, like, absolutely.
He's an older guy. Yeah, and he is an older guy. He's been in the league a long time, and he's had really bad injuries for multiple years back and forth.
Played hard.
Hard
miles.
Miles.
He's putting himself in a human car accident every night, basically, and for 13 years.
Yeah.
And and the way that the management of this team is, the way that this management team is, I could say a lot about Kyle Dubas as a GM. Full disclosure, not a big fan of his work as the GM. However, I will say about Kyle Dubas is that I think he's a guy that puts the people first. Like, I think he's a genuinely good guy. I think you'd want to work for him, because, and I don't think you'd hear him urging Jake Muzzin to come back, right? Like, you saw him with Mikheyev. He stayed in the hospital with him after he cut his
went
wrist.
And got him clothes.
Yeah, like, he cares about the boys, and that's a good thing. Like, he's a player-friendly GM, and that's a good thing, right? So, I don't imagine he'll be the one to give him the nudge to come back, right? I think he cares too much about these guys as people.
Which is a good thing, right? I think, 10 years ago, the Leafs didn't have a good reputation of caring about their players. And now, I think Dubas and his tenure and how he does give a veritable fuck about the people that do work for him and do put on the jersey that he represents and manages.
I respect him for that. Absolutely.
And I think that reputation does go far. And I think it's the reason that, some players that I think some years ago probably wouldn't have come here. I think he has sort of redeemed the Leafs' reputation on not only being somewhere where if you're going to get injured, well, go to Toronto and use all of their medical staff and all of their facilities and get better and then go play somewhere else, right? I mean, that is part of it, and that's a good thing, but, it doesn't lend itself to always be great when you're always counting on getting players that have a history of injury either. Right? Yeah. And Jake Muzzin is a part of that. It's almost like a Shea Weber sort of situation where, Muzzin was sort of hurt when he came over from the Kings. He already had some injuries from his past.
There was a lack of foresight there, right? There was a real lack of foresight to think.
Absolutely.
There wasn't a lot of forward thinking there, but yeah, I mean, again, I think Muzzin, he's played a great career to be proud of. I believe 2 Stanley Cups with the Los Angeles Kings. That's where he played his best years. And I hope for the best for him. I really hope. I mean, a cervical spine, people are saying they're not ones you do take lightly. And I think spine injury equals take serious. So yeah,
Listen, you only have one neck, right? If you can lose a lung, you can lose a kidney, you can lose maybe not lose a leg and still play in the NHL, but there are lots of people that have lots of injuries that they go through, but you only have one neck, and I hate to tell you this, but I think it's something as small as like a half centimeter in any direction. If your spine moves quickly, you can be paralyzed from there down. We are very fragile beings at the end of the day.
Thank you for saying
right?
that really makes me feel comfortable.
Well, don't forget about your own mortality.
Yeah. But I mean, we have to. Yeah, I really hope for the best for Jake Muzzin that
yeah, absolutely,
that he does the right thing there. But
and hope he feels better soon. And on top of that news, the icing on that cake is our favorite R1L1 sliding backwards defenseman TJ Brody is also going to be out for a couple of weeks with an oblique injury. To that. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because Tavares had this oblique injury, and then they were like, he's out for he's gonna be 2 weeks into the season, and they're like, okay, he's playing. And then I'm like, okay, so maybe it's one of those injuries that gets better quickly. I know what an oblique is. I know what it feels like to hurt it, but it's not fun. It's your ribs, so that means breathing is kind of difficult. So.
I think I hurt that the other day when I sneezed too hard, right here.
Yeah, I mean we're clearly elite athletes over here.
Yeah, yeah, drinking out of our Nalgene bottles. Yeah.
Hey, I'm drinking my bubbly here.
What flavor you got? What do you got? What flavor?
It's strawberry. It was like a mixture of them.
Ooh, fancy.
They're quite good. They're quite good. Let me see in this chat here.
I hope the Leafs... Cameron says, I hope the Leafs somehow play the Bruins in the first round. Don't y'all want that?
Why?
I mean...
Why? Why? Why would you want
I think that would be the best redemption arc path. That's the way to do it, right? That's Arthur's revenge at the end of Red Dead Redemption 2.
For an inspiring story, not a tragic story like the Leafs.
Yeah, because I don't know if my little brain and heart and soul can handle another.
Oh boy! You got to play them to win the cup because they are a wagon and a half.
And real sports fans, I guess I am a real sports fan, but real sports fans would say, you should be, if you're gonna win the thing, you should be able to beat anybody. And there's a good argument to that, right? It is
true.
To that.
I mean, that's why. I think that's why the loss against Columbus didn't sting that much, because I'm like, remember when they lost to Columbus? I was like it wasn't even oh man, we missed out. I'm like, they can't beat Columbus. That team was they weren't up to snuff. They weren't in the playoffs. If you can't beat Columbus, you think you're gonna go against Tampa? I know it was weird COVID rules back then, in the bubble. But if you can't go against Columbus, then I was like, yeah, you're not winning it anyway. So it's one of those things.
Well, and there was that one comeback game in Columbus was just, even after that game, when they didn't win that season, I was upset, but I was more resigned to the fact that I'm just going to give that one a bit of a write-off. I'm going to give that one a bit of a freebie because it is a COVID thing. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I was still upset and I was still pissed that we didn't get past the first round at least, but there was a little bit of a mulligan in my opinion.
Montreal the next year,
Yeah, that was just, I was just angry.
Well, people were like, oh, we could have had the run that the Habs did. They could have had an easy run against Winnipeg. Yeah. And then they could have played Vegas, and then they could have played Tampa in the Cup. I'm like, no, they couldn't have. Did you not see the team?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
They should have run through that Canadian division playoff run. I'm still so upset about that Montreal loss. Don't tell Andrew how upset I still am at that. Redemption. Yes, Red Dead Redemption. Maybe I'll play some Red Dead Redemption after we finish here tonight. What do you think?
It's a great game.
But honestly, what team would you be okay with? Oh.
What, for a playoff game? Playoff series?
Yeah, Leafs fan 44. But honestly, what team would we be okay with? I would rather Boston than Tampa.
Might as well, right? You just get it over with at that point.
I would, because I think that if the Leafs beat Boston, whoever they face in the second round, because they're going to be so jacked from beating Boston, they're just, I don't really think who it matters they're going to face in the second round. I think
they would go to the finals in that timeline. I think that they would have just broken every curse at that point.
I think that there's not much that stops them. Maybe the Avs, maybe if I don't even want to think about
I'm going to take some inside information here. So when I first met Andrew Berkshire, he asked me, Andrew Berkshire, host of Game Over Montreal, he asked me, so how are you going to start your show when the Ottawa Senators beat the Leafs in Game 7 of the playoffs? And then I had no answer for him. And I thought about it later, and I said I would call up my therapist on Zoom with us, and then we would all just hash it out, because I think that'd be the only healthy response at that point. But
he asked me that too.
I thought about that later. When you think about things afterwards, like, why didn't I say that? Whatever.
Yeah. My answer was welcome back to another Leafs first round exit. I'm your host, Lauren Williams, and welcome to Game Over Toronto.
That was good. That's why you got that's why you got the gig. That's why you did it.
Yeah. But who knew?
I still see JT getting hit in my nightmares.
Oh yeah. I bet Corey Perry still does. You know?
I know we're going way off. We're going way off the handle here.
Way off.
Like when that was one thing that got me so mad. Everyone was like, Corey Perry's a dirty player. I'm like, if he tried to do that, that would have been impressive that he could have done that. There's no way he did that on purpose.
I think they're actually friends, like to some degree outside of it, like as much friends as you can be.
Corey Perry's a dirty player, but he's not an attempted murderer.
No,
like that was.
He's not actually a bad dude.
He's not an attempted murderer for what we know, right? So.
Ottawa built their team to beat the Leafs back when, and they still couldn't do it. You're not wrong, Cameron. You're not wrong. Although, I feel like who I want to see least in the playoffs, honestly is Buffalo. If we see Buffalo in the Atlantic in the first round, we're so fucked.
Yeah, that would be rough.
Which is terrible to say, right? Maybe we don't deserve it if that's the case. And we haven't played Buffalo yet this year, have we?
No, we have not. Buffalo, they're interesting now. I think they got rid of the bad vibes.
Yeah, no, they're
not the most talented, but
on a bit of a heater. They
excise those vibes.
They're getting better earlier than we all expected them to, unfortunately. Yeah.
And they have a franchise player, Rasmus Dahlin. There's so many Rasmuses. I almost said Sandin.
Remember a couple years ago when Buffalo had all of the Rasmuses?
I think it was 4 of them.
There was like 4 of them on one team. It was
Stalainen, and then it was Asplund, I think.
Yeah, Rasmus Asplund.
That's cool.
He is dirty, but that was unintentional. Yeah, I totally agree with the chat.
I don't know.
Perry is like Marchand. Hate him unless they're wearing your Team Canada shirt. Listen, Cameron, we don't talk about Marchand in a Canada jersey because then I'm not allowed to hate him, and I don't like that.
But listen, I said this before. If Brad Marchand was a Toronto Maple Leaf, he would not have to retire. There would be a statue on Legends Row of him right now.
I think I heard someone say recently that he actually grew up like watching the Leafs.
I think he was a fan,
and he felt kind of bummed about it. I don't know. Yeah. No.
To be fair,
I don't know.
Somebody gotta check that. But
thoughts on Holmberg tonight? Nathan Beulah. He was okay. Assist, hey. I'm fairly impressed. He had, I think he had that one block shot right in front of the other team, right in front of the Pittsburgh goalie. The fourth line was fine. They had a couple really good zone, Whew, it's late. A couple of really good zone holds and cycling the puck and keeping lots of pressure on the Pens. He played fine. I didn't notice anything bad about him, which is good. That's better than Mr. Sandin and his goal away.
Halifax, I was right. Let's go.
Oh, all right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and somebody in the chat said it. One more thing before we go is like the bottom six shuffling. At this point, I don't understand it because how are you you got to build continuity. I know it's the third and fourth lines, but you have to have continuity at some point.
I think they figured out the third line now. I do think that the fourth line is always going to be some kind of rotating door.
Going down? Think Robertson's going down again?
I don't know. I think it'll depend on what they need, right? I think when they're playing Winnipeg and Boston and Dallas, they're going to have Clifford and Simmons and, maybe a couple of other guys on the fourth line. But then when you're playing teams that are also fast, like the Edmontons, when you're playing the Flames, when you're playing Florida, when you're playing teams that are a little bit faster, maybe that's when you put Nick Robertson on it. Now, I don't think that that's necessarily the best usage for him or the best place for him to learn, but I digress. Yeah. And eventually there's going to be more injuries too, right? Knock on wood. We hope there's never going to be, but
there will be.
But if some nuts for candies and nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, and, it's a hard balance to strike. It's hard. Everybody wants to see this guy develop, but I think Sheldon Keefe's mind, as it should be, is always on, I have to win the next game. The next game, I have to win it. I think every game to him is life and death, because it probably is, coaching-wise. Or, everything. He's there to win. So developing while winning, I think, is so hard. Like, you see this in other sports. Sometimes you'll see it a lot of times in basketball, you see it, is like, they'll have like somebody who has a lot of potential. Like, for example, on the Golden State Warriors, they have some young guys who have a lot of potential.
Just so you know, we're down to the last couple minutes here.
Oh, I see it.
Okay.
We're good.
All right.
I'm trying to make my point here. So they have a lot of, they have a lot of young players, but they struggle to get those young players going because they still have legends and they still want to win. So that's the balance they got to strike. But I think he gives them the best chance to win. Like you can't have enough guys who can put the puck in the net.
It's true.
In my opinion.
You can never have too much scoring.
Up and down the lines.
But he has cooled off. Cameron made a good point. He has cooled off in the last few minutes. And speaking of cooling off, we're going to end up cooling off for the night here, everybody. Thanks for coming out and watching with us.
Transition.
Thanks for watching the game. Thanks for coming into the chat and hanging out with us.
Yes, thank you guys. We all appreciate it. Everybody who watches. Make sure, again, you like and subscribe. You share it everywhere. If you do that, I will be your friend.
Tell all your friends.
Tell all your friends. And, get it out there, guys. Come on.
That's it. And for one last shot, my name is Lauren Williamson. You can find me on Twitter. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the comment box. Let us know what we're doing well, what you'd like to see in the future. And we will see you all soon. Take care, everybody.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.